So this is going to be different, going from Star Wars to Star Trek to Thomas the Tank Engine? Well, if you were to find 4-year-old me sitting down on a Monday afternoon, chances were I was watching Thomas the Tank Engine on ABC. This show was my absolute go-to, and after 15 years of absence, I found myself watching episodes on YouTube and realised how the way the show is able to deliver a quick story with a full beginning, middle and end is actually kind of extraordinary, while also including a moral message. Also, I'm just going to be covering the episode style of seasons 1 to 5, none of that new CGI bullshit. Oops, sorry, there ain't going to be any swearing in this Kiddlywinks. I'm just going to try and prove why your show is genius. So some background information. Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends was created by the Reverend W. Awdry in 1945, with the 3 railway engines, and then he created the actual character of Thomas in 1946, originally starting out as a simple bedtime story to tell his son Christopher while they were in Birmingham. For the rest of his life he would continue to write and publish books about the island of Sodor, a magical island of anthropomorphic vehicles which is kind of perfect for a kids series. Talking trains, trucks, helicopters, planes and other vehicles are some of the most fascinating things for a toddler to watch. Awdry's works are compiled into the Railway series, a collection of 42 books, each with 4 stories in each, and then in 1984, the television rights were purchased by Britt Allcroft, who turned 26 of Awdry's original stories into the first season of the show Thomas and Friends. The show's status instantly boosted by hiring ex-Beatle Ringo Starr to narrate the show.
Oh dear, oh dear. What? Whee. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear.
However, the show's production budget was extremely limited. To deal with this, the engines were portrayed by models and driven on authentic sets designed to replicate the original illustrations, using a 35mm periscope lens to allow for these tiny models to have some real size and scale to them. And sometimes the shots looked kind of amazing like this. And this.
We've done it! We're over the border and back on our own railway.
The shots of the trains silhouetted against the moonlights in the mornings are somehow incredible. And through the 80s and 90s, the show grew increasingly more popular, eventually garnering a franchise-killing film, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, an infamously bad film starring Alec Baldwin, Peter Fonda, and Mara Wilson. Seriously, this film is god-awful and killed any momentum this series may have had. So they reset, and eventually in 2009, they chucked out the models and made the show completely CGI. And this to me is where the show died. I've never watched these episodes, but just hearing the voices of the characters...
Careful. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no thanks. So on to the actual topic of the video. What makes this series and its storytelling method kind of genius? Especially in those early days. I'll take 2 examples of high-rated episodes from the series, Bulldog and Edward's Exploit. Both of these episodes are great, even though they literally last for 4 minutes and 27 seconds, they are able to take a simple story telling a moral for the kids while mixing in some excitement and brilliant imagery. Now, not all of these episodes tell such a great moral message, like there's literally one episode that tells you, hey kids, if someone's being mean to you, don't try and solve it with words, just tear them to pieces. That violence is awesome. What kids show would have something like that today? Literally ripping someone in half. So let's start with Bulldog. We get a brief prologue and then immediately we are given our moral. A simple one, but something that can be easily understood by children. Be careful, don't rush into new situations. Falcon is told to go on a new route which he is excited to see. Duke, our parental figure, is told to go with him, and he tells Falcon that he will lead the way as he is familiar with the dangerous track they are taking. Falcon, however, is stubborn and insists on leading the way. Easy. Kids, don't go in new areas without your parents leading the way. That's our setup. We see Falcon is overexcited and wants to go faster. However, Duke wants to go slower and more carefully, and then, bam, conflict. We see the possible ramifications of Falcon's actions of falling off a cliff, and we see the stress of the parent trying to save the kid, how a child's overexcited nature can lead to great danger, and ultimately we see that Falcon has learned his lesson and won't be impatient in the future. This next episode is regarded as one of the best episodes in the entire series, Edward's Exploit. We see in the start how Edward is mocked for his old age and how he's unable to pull these bigger trains, and the other engines make fun of him. However, his loyal friends stand up for him. Storm, however, hits them and the conditions make it hard for Edward, eventually losing a coupling rod. He has the option of giving up, but he persists despite the weather, and I guess a physical disadvantage. We see how they strategize and compromise to figure out how to restart, and eventually we see how Edward's resilience pays off. Despite his struggle, he does it for his passengers, and we see him arrive to much celebration, despite being late, showing that the effort that one puts in should always be commended, and how important it is for children to show resilience, and showing how the characters are hailed afterwards for it. And these were 2 examples out of a possible 120 plus. There are episodes like Gallant Old Engine, which tells a similar story of resilience. Bullseye, which is about karma. Thomas and the Special Letter, which is about how no dream is too big for children. Heroes, about how the smallest of actions and precautions can save lives. Bulgy, the ramifications of lies and deceptions. And Edward and Gordon, and the importance of not taking others and their advice for granted, as well as how physical strength is not as important as mental. So thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe, and this video was so fun for me to make, to delve back into my childhood and realize the messages that were being conveyed while I was focusing on chases, the crashes, and other stunning visuals of the show, realizing that for those first 5 seasons, the show really had a special heart and a message to it. And then this happened.
Now that's what I call a perfect landing.
Just a quick side note, I recently released my Star Wars fanfic. I've been spending over a month working on it. It's about half an hour long, and it would be so great if you could check it out if that sounds interesting. But otherwise, check out these other videos, and until next time, bye!
Hello, you people know a lot about trucks. Bing, 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 bong. China. Bing, bing, bong. Obamacare. Bing, 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 bong, 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 bong. Get those lights off. Bing, 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 bing. China. Bong, bong. Bing, 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 bong. Turn off the lights. I'm really rich. Bing, bing, bong. $1 million. Bing, bing, bong. It's Rubio. Bing, 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 bong, 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 bong. And by the way, bing, 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 bing. I love China. Bing, bing, bong, bong. Bing, 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 bong. How can you not love China?